welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our stamp set Christmas Before and Afters and its coordinating dies. And we're also going to be introducing our Sparkle Garland Border dies, and these are so gorgeous too. So let's go ahead and check them out. First, we're going to take a look at Christmas Before and Afters, and as you can see, it has before and after images. So we have these cute little mice, and they're kissing under the mistletoe, which is so sweet. We also have a Christmas tree, and then a Christmas tree that is totally decorated. And then we have an empty stocking, and then a stocking that's filled with little gifts. We also have a cute heart and snowflake that are fun for setting the scene. We have some tiny phrases that are fun for stamping in scenes, and we have a smooch and a ho ho ho. And then this set has some of my favorite sentiments ever. I love this style. We have a Merry Christmas and a Season's Greetings. And then we have Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, which is so cute and sweet. We also have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And we have May Your Christmas Be Merry and Bright. These are such beautiful sentiments, and of course, an I Love You as well. And so now we're going to take our Copic markers and add some color to these adorable images. Before and after stamp sets are a series of stamp sets we have with a bunch of images that are before and after that can be used in a lot of different ways. The original way to use these is with our Magic Picture Changer interactive die, and we're going to be showing you that in just a little bit in this video. These are also really great for cards that I call inside-outside cards. So for example, you could have the Christmas tree on the front, and then you would open it up and you would have the decorated Christmas tree on the inside. So once again, going along with that before and after idea, but on a plain card instead of an interactive card like the Magic Picture Changer. The other really great thing about all of these images is that you can use them on their own too, and we're going to be showing you all of these different ideas in this video. And look how cute and sweet these little mice are. You can see there that I am adding in some little rosy cheeks for the mice, and then I'm coloring in the little mistletoe. And then we're going to go ahead and color in the Christmas trees. And I really love this combo of green markers. It's really bright and beautiful. And so I'm going to color in the Christmas tree, just a plain Christmas tree. And then we're going to color in the other Christmas tree with the same markers so that it's got the same exact look, but it's going to have all of these fun decorations on it. I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in the little ornaments. And I like to use two markers that are kind of a little bit far apart when I do these little ornaments. So I have the darker marker on the outside and the lighter towards the center, and I feel like it makes the ornaments look like they're really glowing. And then for the little Christmas tree skirt underneath, I'm going to use a nice bright red for some traditional red and green Christmas colors. And then I'm going to take the same exact markers and color the stockings with these. That way all of my images are going to coordinate nicely so I can mix and match them on my cards. And here you can see that I brought in another marker just to help me kind of blend out all of these colors onto my stocking. So I'll do dark, then medium, then the next one down, the next one down, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the lightest marker toward the end. I'm also going to color in the rest of my little accents in the red color. And then I'm going to add some green, again, because I'm really going for that traditional red and green here. I like adding a little bit of warm gray to the stocking and then blending it out with the colorless blender just to give the white area of the stocking a little pop. And as we add color to that cute little teddy bear, now that you can see all of the images. And then Miles really wanted to color this stamp set into and show you all of his beautiful creativity. He loves the colors red and blue, so that's what he's coloring his mice in. And then of course, he had to decorate the rest of his card with some cute little pine cones and of course some little pine boughs too. And look how adorable this is. He just has so much fun crafting. I love it so much. So these are the coordinating dies from the stamp set, which you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. We're going to line them up with the stamped images and then hold them in place with some low-tack tape and run them through the die cut machine. And you'll see that some of these dies actually cut these little images into individual mice, which is really cool because you can stamp it as a trio or you can use the dies to die cut them into separate pieces. And here is a look at all of the images in the set. And here you can see a bunch of ways to mix and match the elements. So you could add the little heart above, you can separate the two little mice there and use them separately. You can have the little Christmas tree in the background of the mice to help set the scene. There's so many fun things that you can do with it. So next up, I wanted to show you the sparkle garland borders. We have a straight border and also a curved border, and then all of these cute little elements that you can layer over top of these borders. So you can use them plain like this, or you can layer the decorative elements on top. And I absolutely adore the vintage feel of these sparkle garland borders. It feels like those vintage ornaments that you can find in thrift stores, and it's really, really fun to use holographic cardstock, the gold metallic and silver metallic cardstock on these. They look just beautiful, and look at all of those gorgeous details. Oh my goodness. And then here you can see that we also have little details for the circular kind of ornaments on these garlands that you can layer over top as well. And then here you'll see that you can do the same kind of layering on the curved banner as well. So I like to drop a little drop of glue on each one, and then you can layer on the different decorative elements on top. And you can mix and match them in different ways. Like here, we're just going to add some details on some of the circles, and you could leave some of the circles plain. There's a lot of fun ways to use these. And of course, then you can use these to decorate your cards, and they're so gorgeous. So you can have the curved one up top, or you can also play with them and put them at an angle too. And this is a fun way, almost like you would decorate with garland in your home. You can decorate your cards like this too. You can also mix and match these. I really like using the straight border on the top and bottom of my cards, kind of like a little frame for a scene inside. Or you can mix and match the curve with the straight border for really gorgeous looks. And we're going to show you a fun technique with these in just a little bit. But first up, we are going to be creating a magic picture changer. But before we create our interactive element, we're going to be doing some stenciling. So here is the largest of the stitch rectangles. It's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to be using the brick stencil over top to create kind of an outside wall. We're going to be creating a magic picture changer like you're looking through a window. And this is a recreation of a card by Grace. So thank you so much, Grace. This card is absolutely stunning. So we're going to be using some antique linen distressing to create this look of kind of this like dirty brick wall that you're going to be looking at from the inside. And the best way to do this is not worry about the unevenness of how you're adding your ink, because the unevenness is what really makes it look like brick on the outside of the building. So we're going to layer all of that antique linen distress ink over top and lift up the stencil, and you can see just how gorgeous this is. Then to add a little bit more detail, we're going to take vintage photo distress ink, and we're just going to go around the edges, and you'll see that that's going to darken up the edges and just add some nice definition. So we're going to go all the way around the edges of the card, adding a little more ink here and there just to get kind of that cool differences that's going to make it almost look like real brick. Now, since we're going to be doing a magic picture changer, we're actually going to be using the magic picture changer add-on. And so we're going to go ahead and die cut this, and we're going to be doing that same technique with the brick stencil. So we're going to take the brick stencil and layer it over top, and that way we're going to have the magic picture changer add-on. It's going to kind of help blend the whole interactive element into the card. So we're going to be doing the same thing with the antique linen distress ink over this whole magic picture changer add-on. And we're not going to add any of the vintage photo on the outside because we want this to blend in with the middle of the card. And so we can just layer that antique linen distress ink right over top, and then we can lift up that stencil, and you'll see that we have this gorgeous, beautiful design. Now, you'll see that there's a little stitching line around that window opening on the inside. We want to ink that pink because we're going to be inking something else pink. You're going to see how it all works in just a little bit. So here are some Post-it notes. These are some full stick Post-its. They're really great for masking. And so we're just going to layer those all around the edges, and then take some spun sugar distress ink and just go all around the inside edge. And that's going to give it this nice pink look that's going to help blend with the inside of our magic picture changer that we're going to start creating in just a second. And of course, I always love this part. I love peeling up those Post-it masks and seeing the fun reveal of that pink square there that we have in that little frame. Now we're going to be stamping the two kissing mice images from Christmas Before and After. So we're going to stamp this guy here, and then we're going to stamp the other mice on another piece of cardstock. Then, just like we did earlier in the video, we're going to add some color to these mice, and you'll see here you can see them come to life, and we're going to do this on both of the mice images that we have stamped on the two different pieces of white cardstock. Then next, we're going to be doing some masking because we are going to put masks over the mice so that we can ink over top of them. But we're going to be doing some masking actually with the coordinating dies. And a lot of the girls on our design team, like Grace and Megan, love to do this, and I think it's such a cool look. So we're going to stamp on these full stick Post-its, and then we can take the coordinating dies and line them up with those stamped images. We'll run that through the die cut machine, and that's going to give us an awesome coordinating mask that was perfectly cut out by the coordinating die. Now it's time to line these masks up with our stamped images. And a really easy way to do that is to turn the flashlight on your phone on and just put your cardstock right above. And that's going to help you see through your image and right through the mask and line it up really easily. So it's a quick and easy technique. So here you can see we're lining up all of these different little masks. And the great thing about masks like this is that you can reuse them. And I like to stick them on my stamp set so that I have them with me in case I need to mask off some more cute little mice with doing some inking like we're going to do right now. So we're going to take that same spun sugar distress oxide ink that we used on that inside part of the frame, and we are going to be inking up the sky for these cute little guys. Another way to do this is that you could use your Copic markers to add some color around the images, and then you wouldn't have to use a mask. So sometimes I use Copic markers, and sometimes I like to use my inking. And so this is going to be a fun, soft look, almost like we're looking at some pink wallpaper, because we're going to be looking through a window and into a house. Then we can peel up the mask, and you'll see the cool thing about using the coordinating die for the masks is that it gives you that little white border around the images, which I think is such a cute look. And so here you can see we can peel up each of those, and we have that big reveal that is just so adorable. Now we're going to take out our magic picture changer, and we're going to take out both pieces. And the larger one is going to give you your first image, and the smaller one is going to give you your second image. And so I'm going to look through that little kind of viewfinder window that's in there, and I'm going to center my image and then hold that in place with some low tack tape. And then I'll repeat the same thing with the smaller one. I'm going to look through that kind of viewfinder image, and I'm going to hold that in place. Then I can take each of these and run them through the die cut machine. So I'll run this larger one through the die cut machine, and we have one part of our magic picture changer. And then I'll run the smaller one through, and we'll have the second part of our interactive mechanism. Then we're going to start working with the larger piece, and you'll see that the die creates some score lines for you on either side, and we're going to fold along those score lines in towards the inside of the magic picture changer. And then we're going to crease those with a bone folder. And if you've never made a magic picture changer before, make sure to check out our intro to magic picture changer video. We'll link it in the description below. So now we've folded our second fold, and now we're going to take out some 1/8 inch double-sided tape. And we're going to put some tape on the inside of these folds and the outside of the folds for a total of 4 pieces of tape. So here you see we're doing the inside of both of the folds, and then we're going to flip the whole thing over and we're going to do the outside of those folds. And so there we go, and now we'll have our 4th piece of tape that we've added to the magic picture changer. Then what we're going to do is we're going to flip the whole thing over, and we're going to peel up the liner paper on each of these, and we're going to fold it down, securing it in place. And what this is doing is creating a little track for our magic picture changer pull tab to be able to pull through. So now that we have those securely in place, we're going to bring back the second piece of our magic picture changer. And then one of my favorite tips for a magic picture changer is to take an anti-static powder tool and rub all along the mechanism. The baby powder that's in this tool helps all of these pieces move really smoothly and glide against each other. It helps reduce the friction between them. So that you don't have to do this step, but it really helps make your magic picture changer work really well. So you'll see I'm adding the baby powder to both sides of this. And then I'm also going to fold along the score line that's in the middle of that main piece. And I'll also take my bone folder out and make sure we have a nice crease here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be feeding the tab through the slot there. So you see we'll feed that through, and we'll have both of our mice images facing up. And you'll see there are 4 little slots here and 4 little tabs. And so we're going to feed each one of those in. So the first slot, the first tab is going to go in. And then I'm just going to push the next ones through. And you can just kind of push through, and you'll see they'll feed right through. And that is going to kind of thread through this whole mechanism, and you can pull the tab already and start to see how it's going to move. The next step is to open it back up and make sure the one with the tab there that can move is exactly between those 2 tracks. So I'm making sure and being really careful to hold it in place. And then I can peel up the liner paper right there, that second set of tape that we added on. And then we're going to be able to close this whole thing shut, and that tape is going to hold it in place, and our mechanism is going to be in perfect placement. So you'll see right there, we're just going to press down and secure that in place. And then now the fun part, we get to play with it and see the whole thing moving, which is so awesome. So now we're going to bring back that magic picture changer add-on that we stenciled earlier. And we're going to add our adhesive from corner to corner in all 4 corners. And then we can add some adhesive along the top and bottom. But don't add any adhesive to those little side pieces because that's where our mechanism is moving back and forth. So once we have our adhesive on there, we can just layer that right over top. And now you can see how that pink that we added is going to coordinate with the pink on the inside of this cute little window. And once again, I'm going to play with it again to see my cute little magic picture changer in action. Now the Magic Picture Changer comes with some pull tabs here, and these pull tabs are not only decorative, but they're also functional because they work as a stopper. So we're going to add some adhesive all along the inside of this tab that we folded in half, and then we're going to put it at the top there and press down and secure that. I'm also going to add a little bit of adhesive there because I'm going to be filling in those little pull letters. So I went ahead and die cut that same tab out of some wood grain cardstock, and we're going to drop in all those little letters there, and you'll see that that's going to add some color to the letters. I think this is just so cute. And there I'm going to add the last little L, and that's just looking amazing. And now you'll be able to see how it's going to work as a stopper that's going to keep that tab from just sliding all the way out, and it also tells the recipient what to do, which is so cool. Now here is our wonderful window die. This die is an oldie but a goodie and a really nice match for the Magic Picture Changer. I thought it was so clever that Grace thought of this. It's just so sweet. And so you'll see there's those little kind of window openings you can fold back along score lines that the die creates for you. And then we're just going to add adhesive to the back of the whole window, and we can layer that right over our Magic Picture Changer scene. And now this is going to look like we're looking through the window in on the scene. I think this is just the cutest thing. It's just so sweet. Now I wanted to fill in the little decorations of the window with that same pink, just so that it all coordinates and it kind of looks like we're looking into this pink wallpaper almost. So I just took that same ink and inked it on a piece of cardstock and then just ran the top of the die through there just to give us all those little pieces. And now we can inlay those pieces, and you'll see that it's going to help give the kind of like continuation of this scene, and it's making this whole concept of looking through the window, kind of the brick wall, all work together. I'm also going to add the cute little heart there out of that same wood grain cardstock that we did those pull letters so that everything is starting to coordinate together. Now, because this is a Grace card, she added a lot of extra decoration, and I thought this was so cute because it looked like somebody had decorated the outside of their house for Christmas. And we're going to be using these holly leaf border dies. And so we're going to die cut a bunch of these dies out of noble fir cardstock, and then all of those red berries out of chili pepper. And this is really fun because I feel like I'm almost like gardening or something, right? I'm going to start trimming apart these little branches so that I can have little pieces that are going in both directions to decorate the window. And so you can see how those are going to work. So we're just going to add some adhesive to the back of those and layer them. Now, once I started to do this, I realized they were a bit too long, but that's okay because I can go ahead and just prune off a little bit and then layer those on. And I love how it matches the curve of the window so beautifully. So we're going to layer both of those. I'm just going to trim off any extra that I don't need, and then I can layer the rest of that right on top. I'm also going to trim off some extra little leaves and add those to the top to just kind of fill in where the two pieces meet and make it look a little bit more kind of finished right there. And you can see how gorgeous that is. Then the die comes with these cute little red berries, and it die cuts a bunch of them all at once. And so I'm just going to be adding on some liquid glue and then adding on each of these berries. And you'll see as we add the red on there, it just gives this beautiful pop of color. And I like that it coordinates so nicely with the red berries that we colored into our cute mouse scene. The wonderful window die also has this cute little windowsill, which we've cut out of that same wood grain cardstock that we used for the word pull and for the heart. And so you can see how everything's coordinating together nicely. And after we add the windowsill, of course, we're going to add some more holly leaf decoration. So the holly leaf border comes with a shorter one that we're using here, and then the longer one, which I'm going to trim off so that once again, I have the pieces going in the different directions. Then we can add some tape runner onto those and then layer those into the scene. Then we'll be repeating the same thing that we did before. I'm going to die cut a bunch of those berries and start to layer them onto the holly leaves. And oh my goodness, this is just so fun and so pretty for Christmas. Our new Merry Mistletoe die comes with this super cute bow, and so we're going to be layering that between those holly leaves. So I'm just going to layer the two elements of the bow and then add some liquid glue to the back and then layer that onto the bottom of the window. And I love mixing and matching all these dies together. I actually think the window was super cute even without all of these decorations, but adding the decorations is really, really fun. Then the next thing I'm going to do is take a white gel pen and just add a bunch of layers to these holly leaves. I thought it really helped them pop, and it also made it feel like almost like there was a little dusting of snow on them. I just think it's a really, really cute look. And so you'll see as we add those little details, everything just pops and looks so beautiful. Now we can bring back that brick wall that we stenciled earlier, but before we add our magic picture changer on it, we're going to stamp one of the sentiments from Christmas Before and Afters. That's one of my favorites, and it's "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." We're going to stamp that in chili pepper ink to go along with all of those die cuts that we have in chili pepper cardstock. And then we're going to add this to a standard size card base that's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. Then for our magic picture changer element, I always like to add those on with some foam squares because that gives the recipient a lot of room to be able to get their fingers in there and pull the tab. And so now we're going to layer that magic picture changer on, and you'll see that it's going to kind of blend in with all of that brick, and it's going to look like one brick wall, and we're looking through a decorated Christmas window into this super cute scene. I just love the idea of taking the magic picture changer and kind of integrating it into a scene this way by stenciling everything and adding all of these fun die cuts. It's just so cute and so fun, and I love this interactive card. So now that we've created an interactive card with these cute before and after images, we're going to work on a card that just uses them on a card, right? Not in the whole before and after sense. So we're going to die cut some craft cardstock here, and we're going to be stamping out there, "May your Christmas be merry and bright," and we're going to be stamping that out for some heat embossing. So we're going to prep this with an anti-static powder tool. We're going to use some clear embossing ink, and we're going to stamp out the sentiment. And this is a really delicate sentiment, and this is a tip from Megan that if you kind of tap on it with your fingers like this and don't press down too hard, you'll actually get a perfect impression with your embossing ink. And then you can go ahead and sprinkle on that embossing powder, tap off any of the excess, and then heat it up with the heat tool, and you'll see that you have a nice bright white shiny sentiment that has all of the detail of that tiny little phrase. And then to add a little extra detail, we're going to be using some sugar cookie ink and just inking the edges of this cardstock. And that's just going to make it look like a little vintage and a little worn. It's going to be really pretty for this card. Next, we're going to be working with the new Build a Snow Globe die, and we're going to be die cutting a bunch of elements out of holographic cardstock, white cardstock, vanilla malt, and also some of our wood grain cardstock. We're also going to be using the new spiffier speckles paper, and there's a really pretty pink in there that we're going to be using too. And then the next thing we're going to do is in the Build a Snow Globe die, there's a really awesome little hill creator here. And so we're going to line that up with this base piece. We can hold it in place with some low tack tape and run it through the die cut machine. And now we're going to have a little hill. And we're also going to be inking that hill with that same sugar cookie ink so that it coordinates with the inking that we did on the card base that we're going to be adding this snow globe to. Then we can start to put all of our elements together. So we're going to add some adhesive to the back of that snowy hill, and then we're going to layer that onto the pink piece we cut because the pink is going to become our sky. Then for the wood green piece, we're actually just going to trim off the top part of this, and this is just going to be the platform base of our snow globe. We're going to add these really cute decorative elements that we've die cut out of the holographic cardstock, and the holographic makes them feel so special. And then we can layer these on to the white frame just like that. Then our next step is going to be adding some adhesive behind this and then layering that piece on top. So there's a lot of layers, but that's what makes it look like such a special and cute snow globe. Next, we're going to take out our cute kissing mice and their mistletoe. And so we're going to layer the mice onto this little hill that we created. And then we're going to take the mistletoe and we're just going to tuck that right underneath the little edge of the snow globe frame. So it looks like it's kind of hanging from the top of the snow globe. And I think this is such a cute look and such a fun way to use these elements, not in the whole before and after picture changer style. So here we have some of our sprinkle and shine paper, and we're going to die cut that with a stitched square. And we're going to be layering this square on top. And right now we are recreating a card by Megan, and I just love how she does these designs where she has the squares on the rectangles. I just think it looks so cool. Then we're going to take a piece of vellum that's been cut down a little bit smaller than this square, and we're going to be layering the vellum over top. This is going to help diffuse the paper, but I love that there's a little bit of the edge peeking out of the plain paper all around the outside edges of the vellum. I just think this, once again, it's just so pretty and so cool. Now you can see the adhesive a little bit there in the middle, but that's okay because we're going to layer elements over top. So we're going to take the super cute mice that are from the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters set, and we're going to be adding them to the card. I love that you can mix and match all of the mice in our different sets, and it's so fun to mix and match these Christmas before and afters with the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters. So we're going to layer all these cute little mice in their Santa hats right at the top. And then we're going to be adding our snow globe into the center there, and that's what's going to be covering up the adhesive that's holding down the vellum. So we're going to add a bunch of foam squares to the snow globe so that it has a nice little pop, and we'll layer that right there. Then we're going to take some of the other images from before and afters and we're going to layer them at the snow globe. And I think this is just a fun way to use these images. And it also kind of gives you a little ground at the bottom, almost like these are little decorations on someone's mantle, right? Where you've got all these cute little figurines for your Christmas mantle or something like that. So we're going to layer these all on top. And then we're going to start adding some cute little decorative elements. So in the Christmas before and after stamp set, there's some cute little hearts. And so we're going to layer those into the scene. And then in our Wild Wolf stamp set, there's this great trio of stars, and I love it because you can stamp out the trio, but then the die cuts them into individual stars. And this is a fun way to add stars into any elements, really. And I love these little imperfect stars. I think they're just so cute and sweet. And so we're going to add some adhesive to the back of these, and then layer these all into the sky to kind of fill in the space between the mice and the sentiment. And I think this is just really, really cute. And I love the pop of yellow up there, that it kind of matches the yellow star on the Christmas tree below. We'll add one last star, and then all we need is a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to add some adhesive onto this, and then we can layer our whole panel on top, and this card is done, and it is so cute. I love the mixture of the mice from the winter critters above, and then how cute these little mice fit in the Build a Snow Globe. I think it's just adorable. Now, next up, we're going to create a really cool card by Elise using the sparkle garlands. And oh my goodness, I love these garlands. And we're going to be die cutting them out of a bunch of pixie dust cardstock and also gold metallic and silver metallic. And by cutting these out of either sparkle or metallic cardstock is what really makes them feel like a really cool kind of vintage garland that you might have found in a thrift store or something. I just think it's so gorgeous. And you'll see we're adding little drops of glue, and then we're going to layer all of these little decorative elements. And the mixture of the silver and gold I think is just so pretty for the holidays. So there you'll see that we added all of these elements onto our garlands, and now we're going to start doing a really, really great decoration. So we're going to use Spiffy Speckles that has this really great green paper, and we're going to be using this outside in Christmas tree. And we're going to die cut that from the Spiffy Speckle paper so that we have a Christmas tree shaped opening. And that opening is going to be where we're going to feature all of this beautiful sparkle garland. So there you can see that Christmas tree opening. And what we're going to do is bring all of those sparkle garlands in. So we're going to flip this piece over that has a Christmas tree shaped opening. And you could do this with a heart or a star or any shape that you could think of. And we're going to add adhesive all around this Christmas tree. And then we're going to stick the sparkle garland to the adhesive on the back and just kind of wait until it's in that perfect placement, exactly how you could imagine it on your Christmas tree, kind of swaying back and forth. And then you can just trim off the excess and then use the excess pieces to continue to decorate the Christmas tree. And so here you'll see that we're going to add the next one there, and they're going to kind of meet in a corner there, and then you'll just kind of have that fun little sway back and forth. We'll trim off the excess and then keep working our way up the Christmas tree in kind of that zigzag pattern. And I just think this is so gorgeous. I mean, look how pretty this is. It's so much fun. I wish I had this garland in real life so I could decorate my tree with it. So we're going to add our last little garland to the very top of the tree. And then to fill in the tree, we're going to bring out some of the favorite flannel paper. And there's this green flannel that's going to be the perfect flannel to be the actual color of the Christmas tree. I think this is so gorgeous. So we're going to add some foam squares to the back so that we really have this fun kind of three-dimensional shadow box kind of feel. We can peel up the liner paper and then layer that over the flannel paper. And isn't this just gorgeous? I love that it's just so simple but so sweet. Oh, I love it so much. The Christmas trees come with this super cute star die, and of course we have to add a star to the top of the Christmas tree. So we're going to die cut that out of some of that gold foil, and we'll layer that to the top of the tree. Then for some more sparkle and shine, we're going to start adding some cute little sequins all around. So we'll add little drops of glue, and then we can drop the different size sequins all around the Christmas tree. And these are just iridescent, so they don't take up too much visual space, but there's something about the sparkle also on the tree and outside of the tree that feels so special. So we're just going to keep layering some of these little sequins all around, and you can see just how sparkly and pretty it is. And wherever you add them, it's just going to look amazing. So the last thing that we need is a sentiment. So we're going to be stamping out the Merry Christmas from Christmas Before and Afters on some black cardstock. So we're going to stamp that out with some clear embossing ink, and then we'll sprinkle on some white heat embossing powder. We'll heat it up with our heat tool and have a nice bright white shiny sentiment. Then we can take our paper trimmer and just trim all around so that it's in a nice rectangle. Then we're just going to flip this piece over and add some foam tape just at the top, because that part is going to layer into the Christmas tree and the bottom half is going to layer over the main part. That way everything will be nice and flat. And I like that the Merry Christmas sentiment almost looks like the base of the tree. I just think that's so cute. And so there we're going to go ahead and add some tape runner to a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25. And now this card is all done. It's so cute and sweet. I love it so much. Oh my goodness, it's so sparkly and so much fun. And these garlands are the perfect decoration for so many holiday cards. And next up, Shari has a super cute card, so take it away, Shari.
So the first thing I'm going to do for my card today is stamp out this empty stocking 3 times on a piece of white cardstock. And I'm just using some black licorice ink for this because I am not coloring these with Copic markers today. I am doing some paper piecing. So I've cut all 3 of those out with the coordinating dies, and now I've pulled out the favorite flannel paper pack. I'm going to use the red and the cream color in this, and I'm stamping out 3 stockings on the red, and then just the tops of the stockings on the cream color. I'm going to be doing some fussy cutting for these, like old school, so I'm cutting out the red. I'll do the whole thing red, and I'll cut out all 3 of these. And you could just do this, but I liked the white edging that you get with dies, like when you're stamping. So we're going to be gluing this onto those white bases that I cut out with the coordinating dies. And once I have all 3 of these cut, I will do the same with that cream colored paper. Just cutting out the top of each stocking and being careful to go around those little scallops, but it's actually not too hard to do. They're pretty easy. So again, I will cut out all 3 of these. I wish I could cut this fast with scissors, but these are pretty simple to cut at least. And then once I have them all cut out, I will assemble them together. So I'm going to start with a little bit of liquid glue on the tops and add the cream colored piece. Just had a few little slivers of cream sticking out from outside my stamped line, so I was just trimming those off. And then once I have those on there, I'm going to layer these onto the white pieces. Again, you could leave them just like this, but I liked that little white border that we usually get when we use the die with a stamped image. So there's my 3 little stockings. I'm making a mini slimline card today, so I'm using the largest of the small mini slimline rectangle stackables to cut a piece of favorite flannel. This is from the 12 by 12 piece, so it's a bit of a bigger pattern. And then I'm using the new Sparkle Garland Border die. I've cut that arched one from some narwhal cardstock for my string. I'm cutting the stars, the big ones and the small ones, from some yellow shimmer cardstock. And I'll just add a little bit of liquid glue to that base string and pick up the stars and add them. And you can see which size to add by what the base string cuts out. We have 2 big ones and 4 little ones on this particular string. I think the straight one is a little bit different. And then for the circles that go in between, I cut these from some gold sparkle glitter cardstock. So I'll just add a little dot of glue and then add all these little sparkly dots, and you get this really fun, shimmery, glittery sparkle garland. I will be layering this garland at the top as you saw me hold it up there earlier, and I'm going to use some greenery as well and make it look nice and full. But before I do any of that, I do want to stamp my greeting. It also comes from the Christmas before and after set, and this one just says Season's Greetings. So I'm just lining this up to where it's in the center. I'm using my ruler on my mini Misty as a guide. Then I'll pick it up with the door of the Misty and stamp it with some black ink directly onto that pattern paper. Now that my greeting is stamped, I can add this to my mini slimline card base. So a mini slimline card base, this is 3 inches tall by 6 inches wide. Now for the greenery garland pieces, I used the Christmas garland die set to cut some cilantro cardstock. I cut 2 of those boughs that kind of go up in the middle and then 2 of those long ones. And I'm just adding a little bit of freshly cut grass ink with a little finger dauber brush just to the bottoms of them so that their color is not quite so solid and I get a little bit of variation and shadow. I'm just being very gentle with this so that I don't kind of bend up any of those little branches sticking out. I just want to be careful, which is why I'm using this brush dauber. And then once all of those have a little bit of inking on them, I can start to assemble them on my card. So those 2 that are on there, they're just laying there for placement at the moment. I wanted to make a garland across the top. And then to help fill in my card, that's where I'm using those long ones to kind of come down from that peak in the garland that's at the top. So that's why I have that there for placement, to kind of make sure it's even and that it starts in the right spot to go with my other garlands at the top. And I'm just using liquid glue to glue all of these down. Just adding a few little dots on the back of all those little leaves, and this will hold everything in place nicely. So for these, I'm taking the left side here and kind of centering that, and then taking that garland off to the right, and I'll do the same with this one. I'll center it up on the right and take that garland off towards the left to where both of them look nice and even, almost like one big garland going across. Then I will grab my sparkle garland that I've already decorated, add some little dots of glue to the back of all of those stars and dots, and just layer this right on top. And since this card is 6 inches long, that 6-inch border garland fits perfectly. Now to add my little paper piece stockings, I'm going to start with the one in the center so it's nice and centered, and then I will glue down the ones on the left and the right. So the front of my card is done, but this is the Christmas before and after set. So of course we have this nice stocking that is full of goodies, and that's going to be the surprise on the inside of my card. So I'm just lining up that stamp, and then of course this long sentiment stamp, I'm actually going to spin this around so it hangs off on the hinge side of my Misty. I'm going to do some selective inking on this so that it is 2 lines of text instead of 1. So for this first stamping down, I'm going to mask off the second half of that line of text with a post-it note, ink this up with some chili pepper ink, and stamp that down. So I have that nice stocking full of goodies. They've been filled, they were empty on the front, and it says, "May Your Christmas." And then I can make sure those stamps are nice and cleaned off, relocate the sentiment stamp, then mask off the first part of that sentiment, again ink it with some chili pepper ink, and finish off my sentiment that says, "Be merry and bright." So may your Christmas be merry and bright, and that's just a fun way to get a different look with those long skinny sentiments. So here is my finished card with those cute little empty stockings on the front, and then in the inside it is filled with goodies and ready for Christmas morning.
Oh my goodness, Shari, I love this card so much. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team, including this fun magic picture changer by Callie that's just adorable. And then I love this card by Elena with the cute little stocking and all the elements in to her awesome little snow globe. I love the mice kissing under our Merry Mistletoe die cuts. Oh my goodness, this is just so cute by Tammy. And here, Yainea found that they fit perfectly in our little Polaroid die cuts. How sweet is this? I want to make a card just like it. Here's the card by Megan that inspired us to make ours today, and that snow globe is just so much fun. And then this card by Letitia is just gorgeous. I love how she cut all of the garland out of our new Spiffy Speckles paper and layered it in a stunning design. This is the Magic Picture Changer by Grace that inspired us to make ours. Oh my goodness, it is just so much fun. And then here is the Christmas tree card by Elise that inspired our beautiful sparkle garland card. I just love this card by Maureen so much and how she used 3 different squares on a slimline card to feature the 3 different scenes and the little mice decorating the tree. I mean, how cute is this? I love how she mixed and matched it with other popular mice sets. Audrey shows us that these sparkle garlands are really amazing for Halloween cards too. How cute is this? Oh, I love it so much. And then here we have an awesome ta-da diorama, and as you open it up, you get the great Christmas before and afters and those sparkle garlands in the background as if the mice decorated their house perfectly. So we cannot wait to see what you guys create with these sets, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!